Hey guys, so this week we're going to be talking about project management and documentation, which are both really important things to know as a maker.
Whenever I start a project, big or small, I always like to keep a binder and sketchbook with me. I made this sketchbook out of some thick cardstock, and inside it has a pad of green engineering graph paper taped down. It has a pencil, and it also has a kind of geometric drawing tool for making lines and shapes. Whenever I have an idea for a project, I do a quick sketch in here, I put the date on it and any other important information. I just tear the sheet off, and then it goes into my project binder. As an example, a couple years ago I made myself a custom scooter, and so I did a lot of preliminary sketches and design work, and I put all those sheets in here. I also made a SolidWorks model, so I printed off pictures from the SolidWorks model and also put those in here. Then when it came ready to actually build it, when I ordered aluminum and hardware and parts, I would keep all the receipts and invoices that I got with the packages, and I would keep those in here as well. After I built the scooter, I went back and wrote a very detailed Instructables post on it, documenting how I built the whole thing. And having a complete record of that design process made writing the post extremely easy.
So having a binder is something that any size project can really benefit from. However, the next step up from that for slightly larger projects is filming and taking pictures. The nice thing about having all this footage is that not only can you look back and see what you were doing throughout the project, but you can also compile it all and edit it down into videos to put online on websites like Kickstarter if you need monetary support. As an example, when we built the Viper, the project wouldn't have been possible without the support of people on Kickstarter, and a large part of that support was having a very concise video that explained exactly what the project was. If your project is large enough, you can also make a website, which is a little bit like having a digital version of your binder. And that makes all that information publicly available for members of your team or outside supporters. Google Sites is an easy and intuitive tool that you can use to build a project website.
All of these project documentation tips can be used no matter how big the project is, whether it's something that you're just working on as a person, or several people, or a whole team of people. However, when you get a whole team of people working together on one project, you need to develop some project management skills to keep everyone focused and organized.
And this is something that we're actually going through right now. We've recently put together a team to build one of our largest projects yet, which is an exoskeleton that gives you increased lift capacity. One of the first things I did was begin looking at people I knew who had certain skill sets that would be important for the project. Once I had those names, then I sent out some emails asking if they'd be interested. Once you've done this, a good way to proceed is to organize an official team meeting to kick off the project.
At this initial team meeting, it's also good to decide general scope of the project, kind of overall what the project's going to look like. All this information that you've just gathered can now go into a Google Doc or a Google spreadsheet, and then that can be shared with the entire team. This will give you a complete list of all the team members. They can fill in their contact information, their relevant skills will already be listed in there, any scheduling conflicts, stuff like that. And this will just make it a lot easier to plan future meetings and also coordinate team members amongst themselves. Once you've figured out the general scope of the project, a next step can be identifying kind of smaller subtasks and sub-goals, which can be completed incrementally throughout the project. This keeps the team more focused because it gives people shorter-term goals which they can work towards, and it also makes the overall project as a whole less overwhelming.
Early on in the project, it's also a good idea to sit down with all the team members and take a look at what team meetings are going to look like, how often they're going to happen, and what days work best for people. Once you've figured out your schedule for team meetings, it's a good idea to set up a Google group so that you can email all your team members at once and make sure the email gets out to everybody. As team meetings approach, send out an email using that Google group to notify everyone and remind them so that they can be prepared for when the team meeting comes.
To recap all the tools which are freely available online for project documentation and team management, you've got Google Sites for creating a project website, Google Groups for organizing a team of people. Dropbox can be very useful for sharing files instantaneously, essentially, between different team members with their own laptops and such. Google Docs is really nice because you can have multiple team members editing one document at the same time and all reviewing changes. And you can also have spreadsheets on there for just a list of team members, their relevant skills, and their contact information. We hope that you'll find these skills useful in the future when you're working on your own projects. I'm Sam.
I'm Joe, and we'll see you guys next week.